¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. Quad Bennett, Michael Hasser, Darius Bennett, Dari Bennett, I'm sorry. Welcome. Heat, how's it going? Echo Rest the Dragon. Welcome, everybody. Dang good timing. Yeah, I think so. Sometimes. The Matrix movies are transgender movies. I don't think so. Well, they were made by they were made by trans creators, weren't they? I'm like 99% sure that the directors of the Matrix were. Oh. Blue pill equal at oh, huh. You know what? They were trans. Okay, good. Okay, so I did. Yes, I remember that. Eating a donut. But what kind of donut? I think that's a very valid question. Welcome, Echo Dragon. Yeah, the more you know. Maple? A Canadian donut? What do you mean maple? Welcome, Stuffed Pink Owl. You're eating a Canadian donut? An aspirational donut. Gotcha. The icing is maple. I've never had a donut like that. Okay, let me make sure I got everything going. Firefly, welcome. I had a donut in this fine country with bacon pieces on it. Bacon pieces on a donut? What? Why? I have never seen that. Do you not watch cooking shows? No. No, I don't, unfortunately. A donut's at the age of 5 while helping feed pigs pig slop on his grandpa's farm. Jeez. Why not? Everything is better than with bacon. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Have you seen Quiet on Set? No, I have not. I have not. I've seen posts about it. I've seen posts about it, but I have not actually sat down and watched it. I don't know about the bacon, but I suppose, the sweet savory combo is very nice. Sometimes think pineapple on pizza. No. I don't know. It's a sweet, salty thing? Maybe. I'm gonna open those eyes. Redmondberry. Welcome. A pig's a filthy animal. Nah, I'm gonna agree with Heat. Pigs are cute and incredibly smart. I don't know. I don't know if I can do bacon on donuts. Echo Resto Dragon gets it. Okay, alright. Maybe I'm the one with the wrong food take here. Alright, I got everything going, folks. So, before we get started, if you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. It really does help us out if you haven't done so. If you're on the YouTube, thank you. I appreciate it, and I see you. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe, and do all the awesome stuff. I appreciate that. Join the Discord, folks. Join the Discord. Okay, there's still a few more weeks, but we do movie nights on the last Saturday of every month. So if you want to check that out, or just hang out with some cool people, check it out. Or if you also want to just keep up with the channel, we do channel updates there too. I'm gonna do an unofficial movie night. Yeah, you feel free to just take over. I'm also weird. I like salt on watermelon. What? That's a chef's trick? My mind is blown. I tried what James Napper told me about coffee. If it's too bitter, just add like a tiny pinch of salt. And it actually it actually worked. But you have to make sure that the amount of salt is so minute. It's just so small. You just need a tiny, 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 like not even a pinch of salt. Okay, like really, really just grab the tippy toes of your fingernails and just add a tiny bit. But that does take away the bitterness. Salt brings out flavor. True, it does. It does. Also, folks, if you want to support the channel, you can. There are many different ways, including biddies, subs, and whatnot. And you can also check out the merch store by typing, not clicking, by typing !merch. Cosmic Seeking, happy Wednesday. It is indeed Wednesday. Welcome. It is indeed Wednesday. All right, folks, let's get started. Nice shirt, thank you. By the way, speaking of cat emotes, I found in my phone, which I have to charge, a Bailey a Bailey emote that I have to put on the channel because I think we still have some extra slots. And Bailey is Breeze cat. I love the Discord ones. Yeah, that's you can thank Heat for that. You can thank Heat for that. She's the one that got him in there. I added a few more. All right, let me make sure I got another thing here. Can you feel the love tonight? Yeah, enough warm fuzzies. We're about to get into it. All right, honestly, listen, this cycle hasn't been too bad, okay? We're not gonna leave without some slightly better news, okay? We're gonna get into some harsher stuff, but I think that for the most part we're doing okay today. Let me just move this out of the way. Okay, so we went over yesterday that clip from Hillary Clinton, and apparently there was a particular response that needs to be shouted out, I guess.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
This is the original clip, okay?
Get over yourself. Those are the two choices.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? Get over it.
I don't think it was a very wise statement on her part.
Popular sports personality Stephen A. Smith apparently knows more about politics than he does about hockey. Once famously saying that the only thing he knows about hockey is that the puck is black. Now, I'm going to get to his recent comments on this Hillary Clinton clip. I just want to say, the NHL playoffs are coming up. It's going to be big playoffs. Go Leafs, go. But let's get to this clip. So Hillary Clinton, for some reason, is still making public appearances. This is helping nobody. It's not helping Democrats. But here she is on Jimmy Fallon's show, and I'll get to Stephen A. Smith's response to this.
But it's Biden.
Yeah, get over yourself. Ah, cool, nice. These are the people that are supposed to vote. By the way, like I don't understand, like, why is she still? Why? Okay, Clinton is a blind fool and Jimmy is just a fool.
Versus Trump. We know that.
It is. It is.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the two choices.
Like, imagine being like, no. First of all, like, nobody wants this. Okay, nobody wants this rematch. Okay, and then to be like, yeah, get over yourselves. What? Phenomenal response. Okay, nobody wants this rematch. Nobody wants freaking Biden versus Trump. This isn't like news either, by the way. Okay, this has been like a consistent theme that has kind of been for quite a while, for months and months at this point. Kamikaze, welcome. Yeah, good timing. We're just getting started. Good timing. Good timing indeed.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? And
good.
you know, it's kind of like one is old and effective and compassionate, has a heart, and really cares about people, and one is old and has been charged with 91 felonies.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
I don't understand why this is even a hard choice. Really, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it. Yeah, she's completely insane.
We have to go through the election, and hopefully people will realize what's at stake, because it's an existential question. What kind of country we're going to have, what kind of democracy we're going to have. And people who blow that off are not paying attention, because it's not like Trump, his enablers, his empowerers, his allies are not telling us what they want to do. I mean, they're pretty clear about what kind of country they want.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton once again reminding us how terrible of a communicator she is. Even though there are elements of this that I think are also obvious and I agree with, couching this in the idea that telling people to get over it is the way to get them out to vote, I think is absolutely the stupidest way to go about it.
Yeah. I think everyone understands why you don't understand. Exactly.
I mean, and don't take it from me, take it from her election loss. This is the only person to lose to Donald Trump.
Yeah, like, why is she even making commentary on freaking campaigns when she didn't even win hers against Trump? Absolute ghoul.
The one person hated more than Donald Trump. So Hillary Clinton, if she wants to help Democrats, needs to stop making public appearances. But let me get to Stephen A. Smith's reaction to this.
Stephen, great to have you on set. So what do you make of that? Get over it?
I don't think it was a very wise statement on her part. How did that work out for her in 2016?
It didn't. It didn't. That's right. We all, yeah. It was because of the Bernie people. That's right.
I think that's something that we have to
That's why she lost.
recognize. Yes, she won the popular vote, but at the end of the day, she wasn't the president of the United States. It was him. You can look at her not campaigning in Wisconsin in the last days, not campaigning in Pennsylvania in the last days. You can look at some of the stuff that they were saying about her that sort of distracted things from where it should have been in terms of Comey and his report from the FBI. You can bring up a whole bunch of things, but at the end of the day, the last thing you need to do is to do anything that could agitate a potential voter in this particular election.
Hearing him talk about Hillary Clinton and politics and getting this bang on just makes me wish he paid more attention to hockey, because I would love to hear his opinion on hockey. He's a great communicator. He's very engaging. He's very opinionated, but he's someone that I think holds maybe a little sway. in terms of, at the very least, he gives you the idea or gives you an idea of how typical people think. And this is bang on. And as I said, there's more to it, to his argument here.
Our family loves to adventure together, and literally every time we go out, we take along these Paleo Valley beef sticks. They are
Stop.
But just on what the points he made, Hillary Clinton needs to understand that she is the reason she lost the election, and she does not understand that. I mean, her book is all about blaming everybody else for her election loss. This unwillingness to look at the mistakes that you made as a politician, take accountability for that, and learn from those mistakes. Hillary Clinton does not possess those abilities. And if she had, she could have been a great voice for Democrats. If she had learned from the mistakes that she made, realized that she wasn't speaking to working class voters, realized she completely ignored certain states that she took for granted, realized that she completely sidelined Bernie Sanders and the entire movement he had built throughout 2016. If those lessons were learned, then she could have been a solid asset for Democrats if she had come out of that with those lessons. But clearly she has not. Now, I want to get to Smith's last half of his comments here.
What do you make about the actual argument that she's making? I mean, she's basically saying two old people, yes, but they're substantively different. I mean, Trump
Absolutely.
has
Well,
91 counts against him.
Well,
and
listen.
If you're
Nobody's
not-
brought that up more than me. For indictments, 91 counts, impeached twice. I'm not voting for him. I've said that to a lot of people. I've said that to you. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that at some point in time, you got to take into account what the voters thinking about. The voters, a lot of them out there, tens of millions of them out there, by the way, don't care what he's going through right now. They don't care about his guilt or innocence, his perceived guilt or innocence. They don't care about the 91 counts. They're thinking about their lives. And a lot of times we see politicians taking the positions that they're taking, and while we can respect their candor and their honesty, they do seem a bit detached at times from what the voters are actually feeling and what the voters are actually thinking.
Ooh, man. This dude is straight up cooking right now. Yeah, now made from real beef. Wait, so what was it made from before?
Nobody wants to hear that from Hillary Rodham Clinton at this particular moment in time, because especially if you're Joe Biden, what are you really worried about right now? You're worried about folks coming to the polls. You're worried about them showing up to the polls to vote for you. You're not worried even about them voting for Trump. You're worried about them not showing up to vote for you.
Thank you. Holy yikes. You know, this has been like one of the most frustrating things to see, like, on freaking liberal Twitter. Like, I'm talking about like the Democratic Twitter, complete like vote blue no matter who type deal. You know, make the ridiculous argument that because people are angry and threatening to stay home, that means that they automatically support Trump, right? No, man, that's not the issue, dude. The issue isn't that, like, oh, all of a sudden these people are going to start supporting Trump, right? That's not happening. The issue is that you've dissatisfied the base so much that they're just going to stay home. That's it. That's the problem. I see why David pulled this particular response. It's so satisfying. Yes, it is, actually. It's incredibly refreshing. It's incredibly refreshing.
You. That doesn't exactly encourage them to get up out of their seats and go to the polls.
This is the message that is often lost on the Democratic Party. And in a bit here, I'm going to get to some polling showing you just how bad things are looking currently for Joe Biden and how they clearly need to turn it around by, at the very least, pushing Hillary Clinton off television. Let's, at the very least, try to avoid that. Because telling people that already are not feeling great about Joe Biden to get over it, when has that ever worked in any situation? If someone's mad at you and you tell them to get over it, are they going to go, oh, you know what? You're right. I'll get over it now. Has that ever been effective in any situation?
No.
So turnout is the most important thing here. Democrats win when turnout is high. They lose when turnout is low. This election is not a horse race between Biden and Trump. It's a horse race between Biden and the couch. If people stay home, Biden will lose. There is, like, looking at polling and looking at who people previously voted for compared to, if they may vote for Joe Biden or not, people that are potential Democratic voters did not vote for Donald Trump last time, and they have no plan to vote for Donald Trump. They plan to stay home or vote for Biden. So Trump is not your competition. Pointing out Trump's, the fact that he's a criminal is obvious. People that would vote for Biden at this point.
Right. Like, that's not the argument that needs. Everyone knows that this dude is a freaking dangerous fascist who is threatening to dismantle whatever semblance, whatever thin veneer of democratic systems that are still somewhat in place. He's threatening to do away with all of that. He's threatening to consolidate power. The Republican Party is completely behind him in this endeavor, and he's got at least in 2024, he's got a lot more chips lined up than he did in 2016. In 2016, he didn't have the Supreme Court that he does now. It is possible that, and it's also possible that the Republicans maintain the House and win the Senate. In which case, that's not good, not great. How much of that will come into play, I don't know, but the main key is that they're locking in the judiciary pieces. They have a pretty well spelled out battle plan for the executive branch should Trump win the election. So, but we already know this. That's my point. We already know this. The people, we're not going to go out there and vote for Trump. That's not what's happening here.
Already know that. Reminding them of that is not necessarily going to get them to come out to vote. You have to both present it's both a message, but it's also action. Biden is currently the president, and there are a number of issues where the Democratic voter base, especially younger people, marginalized people, are very upset with him for good reason. His Middle East policy currently is supporting mass destruction.
We'll get to that in a second. We can't be in a crisis state like this every election cycle in perpetuity. Yeah. Yep.
This is not a winning position. It's both morally the wrong thing to do, it's also politically the stupid thing to do. If he continues doing that, at the very least, he's losing Michigan. So there has to be a massive turnaround on Middle East policy specifically. But even when it comes...
Oh, I forgot. Speaking of which, as my college roommate used to say at our Baptist university, well, poop. Yeah. Remember how we talked about yesterday the Wisconsin primary? There was a movement to vote uninstructed, which is the equivalent, I guess, of uncommitted. And the goal of this operation was to get more than 20,000 votes, because that was roughly the amount that Joe Biden won Wisconsin in 2020. The uninstructed campaign got over twice that, at 48,162 votes. Okay? Biden cannot ignore this. Even if he does, even if the only thing that this morally bankrupt politician cares about is maintaining power. Okay? If he doesn't care about Palestinian people, if he doesn't care about literal human beings, and the only thing he cares about is maintaining power, this cannot be any clearer. This cannot be any clearer. He will lose. He will lose if those people stay home. If half of these uninstructed votes, stay home, he loses Wisconsin. Maybe he figures he'll lose more if he pulls support from Israel. Yeah, that's a great argument. But like, it seems to me like the immediate issue, and we're only talking about like the campaign, right? Like the electoral side of it. It seems to me, and I could be wrong, the issue is quite clear that maybe you need to focus on the amount of people that are actually threatening to stay home, and try to win that, versus the amount of people who would get angry at you for being more, for having a stronger position against Israel. Because like right now, the immediate issue at 6 months from the election, it's pretty clear. Which, by the way, as far as I can tell, the polls as they stand in general, guess what, folks? It hasn't moved. Not that much. Okay? Not that much. We're seeing polls that are maybe anywhere from exact tie. We're seeing polls from exact ties to Biden maybe +2. I've seen polls that say Biden +4. That's not good. That's not good. Okay? Don't count your eggs before they hatched. Yeah.
To every other issue, like this is less about Trump and a lot more about Joe Biden and his failings. Now, looking at polling here, this is the Real Clear Politics poll average. So nationally right now, things you could argue are looking okay. Trump is only up by less than a percentage point. But looking at
less than a percentage point, that is a statistical time. Like these numbers, like the closest, because like again, you can't really you can't really compare this to the 2020 election. You can't really compare this to the 2020 election. This is closer to the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton was up by maybe three points, if I remember correctly, right before the election. Right before the election, she was up by like maybe 3 points ish, give or take. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in the 2016 election, she was only up by like maybe 3 points. That's this is not good. Not good. Not great. Joe Biden's only leading in one of the 7 swing states. Phenomenal. We're doing great, guys. That's we're doing great. Nobody pay attention at the polls, though, right? We're 6 months out to the election, and I guess we should just how do I put this? Get over it. Oh no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Let me make sure I quoted her correctly. Get over yourselves. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. 6 months out, folks, and this is what we're looking at. Yeah, go F yourselves.
2016, Hillary Clinton at this point, April 3rd, was up by 10, over 10 and a half points.
Okay. David just corrected me. She was up by 10 points at this point. Oh, but wait. The primary at this time was incredibly intense. Between Hillary and Bernie.
And then she lost. Biden was up by 5 or almost 6 points. And he's currently down by almost 1%. What's more important, of course, than the national poll here, because president is not decided by a national vote, which is ridiculous, but that's how it is. What's more important is by state. Biden is losing every potential swing state. Arizona, he's losing. Trump up 5.2. Nevada, Trump up by 3.2. Wisconsin, Trump up by 0.6. Michigan, Trump up by 3.4. Pennsylvania, Trump up by 0.6. North Carolina, Trump up by 4.6. Georgia, Trump up by 4.5 points.
Oh, okay, so like right before the election, that's where I got that number. It was 45.7 to 41.8, so about close to 3 something. Almost like 4 points. Like let's just round it. 4 points. That's where I got that from. Okay, so where she was like 10 points was much earlier in the game, I believe.
This is why Joe Biden has to be worried. The only way you address this.
And by the way, the campaign is well aware of this, by the way. You know how we know? Because they're literally having freaking meetings with leaders. Okay? They're literally having like closed door meetings with Muslim community leaders. So they're definitely aware of what the issue is. Does that make sense?
This is by speaking to your base, your potential voters, especially the people that got you the election victory in 2020. Young people. If you do not speak to young people and their issues, and right now they are very concerned about human rights, and again, what is going on in the Middle East, if you don't speak to that, you are absolutely going to lose. Reminding them that Trump is a criminal is not going to do it. And look, my argument for voting is that you want to vote for your weakest opponent. Since politicians generally are not great, especially when we're talking about, national politics, you want to vote for who you think you're able to better sway. Do you have a better chance at protesting a Republican presidency with Donald Trump? Or do you have a better shot at protesting a Democratic presidency? I think it's very clear, based on the trajectory and what these two parties have done in recent years, that it is much easier to sway or put pressure on a Democratic party than a Republican one. So you want to look at who is your weakest opponent. The weakest opponent is the Democratic Party. You want to vote for them. Voting for people because they did something for you or because you expect something from them is only going to let you down.
I agree, but at the same time, I agree, but at the same time, that only goes so far. Does that make sense? That only goes so far because, like, this is my personal opinion, but like the whole point of politicians doing like this whole campaigning stuff, the whole entire charade, the whole entire the whole entire point of the same song and dance that we do for every 4 years is because politicians run on a platform, and that platform is things that they're supposed to want to do for the base or for the people who vote for them, right? Like, vote for me because this is my platform. This is my resume of what I'm going to offer, what I'm going to bring to the table. So, like, yeah, you kind of, at some point, you're gonna have to deliver. This is maybe for the scenario where you don't have a better choice. Yeah, of course. I'm not disagreeing on the idea that, like, at the end of the day, like, you are trying to fight for your weakest opponent, but that can only be stretched. That can only be stretched for so long, especially in this scenario, right? That can only be stretched for so long, especially in this scenario where the weakest opponent, presumably being the Democratic Party, is telling you to go F yourself. Does that make sense? Nationally, okay? I know that there are going to be some down ballot races that might be important. There are going to be ballot initiatives that are important. There are going to be local races that are going to be important. Things like that. But like the attitude that we're seeing is not good, not great. Because like I agree. I agree conceptually with the idea. Like you're fighting for your weakest opponent, 100%. But like, where do we go from here, right? Where do we go from, like, okay, the weakest opponent are the Democratic Party, and their response is get over yourselves, you know? Okay. Greetings, welcome Conscious Canuck, waiting for food to heat. Oh man. You guys are gonna get me to start talking about food again. I'm already hungry. All right, let's shift gears to a more funnier video.
Of our lives. It's in our kids' schools, it's on the college campuses, it is in the workforce, it is in the streets, it's when you go to the store. I mean, like, you can't do anything in peace without this wokeness being shoved down your throat.
This is domestic terrorist Chaya Rychek, whatever, however the heck you pronounce her name, saying that apparently you just can't do anything in peace without wokeness being shoved down your throat. Oh man. All right, let's see how this plays out in the real world.
Wherever you go. So, do you have is there something funny?
I do.
Yeah, sure.
How do you define
Is there something funny? Yeah, there is actually.
wokeness?
Wokeness is the destruction of normalcy.
This is BS. This is BS. Like, what does that even mean?
You just watched stochastic terrorist Chaya Rychek of Libs of TikTok get laughed at because she couldn't define the thing that she was railing against: wokeness. You know, if wokeness really is as ubiquitous as she says, then in theory she should have no problem describing it since it's everywhere, but she couldn't.
Yeah, like, this is the same, like, the same freaking response with that clown who, like, literally made an entire book about this, but, like, couldn't freaking, like, define it. Yeah. Yeah.
And it led to her having a Bethany Mandel moment. Now, if you don't remember...
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's her name. Yes, that's her name.
For who Bethany Mandel is, she is the so-called expert on woke who literally wrote an entire book about it, but still couldn't define it when she was asked to. Let's refresh our memories.
Yes.
Would you mind if
I love this. I love this clip.
Defining woke, because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So, I mean, woke is sort of the idea that
You would think that if you're gonna be a freaking like propagandist, you would at least have like some kind of freaking answer in your pocket, right? Like, this is supposed to be your freaking wheelhouse, dude. You wrote a freaking book about it, and you didn't have like the forethought of having a pre, like a cheat sheet kind of programmed into your head when this inevitable question was gonna come up, because you're the lady, you're the lady, you're the one who wrote the book, right? She makes money off the idea of being anti-woke but doesn't know what it means. Exactly. Or like, at the very least, like, how do you struggle to, like, that's the kind of like, if that's what your book is entirely based on, like, you didn't have like a cliff notes. You didn't have a cliff notes like in your memory, because like, if I'm arguing an idea, or if I'm gonna go on a freaking podcast or debate or whatever, like, I'm gonna have pre-programmed answers already in my head for potential questions that might come up. Like, most of the stuff that I'm like super well versed in would probably have to do with like climate change or universal healthcare, immigration. Like, I can argue these things very well. So when I'm asked about these things, I normally have already a pre-programmed, pre-packaged answers, because I've thought about this a lot. I've researched this a lot. So you would presume that the person who wrote the book, on the woke, should have like at least some kind of answer. But a ghostwriter, I don't know. Maybe. Welcome. Welcome, Judgment Free Zone.
This is going to be one of those moments that goes viral. I mean,
indeed it was. But I'm
like, nothing, man. Nothing. Not even like a cue card that you keep in your phone. Nothing that you can like reference on your phone, on your computer right before you go on a freaking podcast or on a freaking interview. Nothing. Okay.
I'm sure that Bethany is now incredibly grateful that Chaya had her own Bethany moment, because Chaya is perhaps the only person in the entire country who can actually make herself look dumber than Bethany when trying to define woke. But that's not surprising, considering that this is the same person who gave us this banger when she was asked why trans people are bad.
It's a lie.
And what harm is it causing, do you believe?
I like the truth. I like truth.
Nice. Yeah, phenomenal. What kind of harm is it causing? I like truth. Okay, I like truth too. In fact, my channel name is A Difficult Truth. So explain to me what the damage is here. I'll be eating 1 pound of medium ground beef sauté in various spices and extra virgin olive oil, apple cider vinegar reduction, spinach, butternut, squash, creamy mushroom mixed in and simmered until lightly browned. Alright, listen, Gordon Ramsay, okay? That's how you do low carb. Yeah, most people do like truth.
Right, but I'm saying,
I called them that the other day.
what's the harm of people?
Ma'am, what is the harm? I like truth. Nice.
Expressing their gender identity differently than you believe it to be. What harm are they causing?
Like I said, we are a nation of truth, and
a nation of truth.
We are a nation of truth, and I seek the truth. Brilliant. What an intellectual powerhouse, Chaya Raichik.
Or my preferred terminology, an intellectual titan. Are you a mod at Majority Report? Yeah. Hi.
Is. Now, I'm sure that you will be unsurprised to learn that her inability to define woke wasn't the only embarrassing moment from that event. So we're going to watch some more clips because they are gold. But first, I want to give you a little bit more context about this particular event. LGBTQ Nation reports, Raichik gave a speech yesterday at the Indiana Memorial Union at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, alongside Representative Jim Banks. During her speech, she ranted about pornographic books in schools and moved on to her hatred of everything woke, which is when she was laughed at, by the way. They continue, 2 protesters who were chanting were taken away in handcuffs, according to the Bloomingtonian. Authorities haven't said whether they'll face charges. The paper reported that about 24 people, mostly men, were in the front rows for Raichik's speech, while those who disagreed with her were towards the back.
I'm still laughing at his comment about a real powerhouse. True. the intellectual powerhouse known as Chaya Raichik. Wow, you don't see that level of detachment from reality every day. I see you there. Awesome. I frequent that channel also. Me too. Judge denies Trump motion to lay New York hush money down to the Supreme Court rules on presidential immunity. Nice. Hopefully that gets going ASAP.
From a video posted to YouTube, the men in the front appear to be much older than the average IU student, while the people towards the back appear to be much younger. Interesting, isn't it?
What is this? Oi! I'm not playing this game.
Now, the photos from the event that you saw were taken by Jeremy Hogan and published in the Bloomingtonian. And even though 2 protesters were removed, there were still people there with signs that were obviously heckling her. But here's one of the photos, courtesy of Jeremy Hogan, where somebody was holding up this sign that read, "Libs of TikTok has blood on her hands." And she adds, also, Chaya is a stupid name. It means spinach tree. I'm calling you spinach tree from now on. Now, Jim Banks is running for the Senate, so I guess he thinks that Chaya is going to help his campaign. But he ended up stepping in to try to rescue her after she got laughed at for failing to define woke. Now, as Bryce Green, the person who shared these videos, points out, after she couldn't define woke, she passed the question on to Jim Banks, who then tried to define it himself and bail her out. But as you're going to see, it doesn't go very well for him either.
It's almost like this was all an outrage. It's almost like this was another faux rage. I think it was Conscious Canucks term, foul rage. Cycle, DEI, woke, political correctness. You can keep going down the line. So, scheduled to begin jury selection on April 15th. Uh-oh, that's 2 weeks from now.
The destruction of normalcy and
also anti-Americanism.
It's
I'm sick and tired of
anti-American. Wait. And being wait. So wokeness. Hold on. Let me get this straight. Wokeness is the destruction of normalcy. I don't know what that means. What is normal? And anti-American. Donald Trump is woke. Give me that pizza. Honestly, Domino's is not that bad. For fast food pizza, for lack of a better term, for fast food pizza, Domino's is not that bad actually. Like Domino's is probably I'll give Domino's like a solid. I'll give Domino's like a solid 7 on the fast food pizza scale. Yeah, your scary words make my fifis go wibbly wobbly and it doesn't feel good. Thank you for the follow, Classica. Welcome. Fishbone, welcome. Domino's is not pizza. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna really, I put these in separate categories. Like, I call it fast food pizza. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's like fast food pizza. Like if you want like actual like pizza, you can find a good local pizza place. Find like a good local pizza place. But like, my second time in and you say second time stopping in and you say crazy things. That's not, come on, you gotta give me that one. Domino's is not pizza, but has graduated to food-like substance in recent years. Connecticut has pizza. Yeah, and I'm sure, local pizzerias are great. I'm just saying like fast food pizza, okay? These are two separate categories, okay? Two separate categories. Pizza equals life. I like pizza. I'm okay with pizza.
Thought that America isn't worth fighting and dying for. It's a great country. It's the greatest country in the history of the world. I would say that a tax on our American way of life is wokeism.
So that's broadly though. Like, Al Qaeda attacks American lives. Are they woke?
True. The only pizza I will eat is thin crust or flatbread. I like spinach, red onion, minced garlic, cheese, and grilled chicken. Actually, you know what? Thin crust is pretty good. Like, you got to make sure that thin crust is like nice and crispy, baked, nice and crispy. I'm okay with that. It's got to be white sauce, not red. I'm okay with that too. I'm completely fine with that. Sometimes some tomato. Yeah, I mean, if you serve me a pizza like that, I would eat it. That's fine. That's A-okay by me. I will eat the ever living F out of that. I'm good with that. I have two pizzerias. I switch between one that makes pizza with cheap ingredients and one that uses fresh ingredients. Both are very tasty. Tomato slices, mushroom, black olives, chicken. Yeah, that's fair too. Except the black olives. I don't know. I'm kind of not on board with the black olives. But bacon and onion, yeah, you can, that's fine. Throw that in there too. I'm good with that. My kid will eat them. There you go.
Maybe in some ways.
Are they a woke terrorist group?
A woke terrorist group.
It's seeping into everywhere.
I'm sure that he thought that he was being really clever by broadly defining woke as anti-Americanism, but as you saw, he immediately got checkmated by a college student. Doesn't take much to put these folks in an intellectual chokehold because they don't know what they're talking about. It's just so ridiculous to me that the people who are screeching the loudest about woke, they can never define it. Why is this so difficult? Why can't you come up with at least an operational definition so that way we know at least what you're talking about, even if it may not be what woke generally is defined as? Like, can't you give us anything? They can't because they're full of shit. But Chaya Raichik presumably continues on with her anti-wokeness screed, and then she reached...
But it's on purpose too, because like the whole point of acting this way and the whole point of vague posting like this is because woke just means whatever I don't like. That's why the definition morphs. It just means things that I don't like. Okay? That's it. Where's my screenshot? Hold on. I had like I keep this specific screenshot because it really like these people are so incapable of being like self-aware that they literally just say it out loud. So like, you know, when it comes to like woke, this is also in the same brand of like CRT, remember? Remember the whole CRT stuff, DEI, all of this political correctness. Chris Rufo, this not even that long ago. This is in 2021. I've got the screenshot up in my left side over here. Quote, the goal is to have the public read something crazy in the newspaper and immediately think critical race theory. We have decodified the term and will recodify it to annex the entire range of cultural constructions that are unpopular with Americans. It means things I don't like. That's it. That's literally what Chris Rufo is making. DEI, it is. It's literally the same thing. It's DEI, CRT, wokeness, political correctness. You can keep going down the line of, and they're telling you exactly, here. Chris Rufo, who's like presumed like one of the guys, the anti-woke dudes, the same people like, oh God, what is that? That really annoying moron. Oh God, another intellectual titan, James Lindsay. Yes, James Lindsay. That's him. Like him, Chris Rufo, all these other clowns. And the original response to this is quote, we have successfully frozen their brand CRT into public conversation, are steadily driving up the negative perceptions. In other words, we're doing this. We will eventually turn it toxic, and we'll put all various cultural insanities under that brand category. Like they're literally telling you, like, dude, it's all CRT. Everything is CRT. It just means that things that are unpopular, things that I don't like. That's what it means. And that's what they're telling you. What they're doing, they're literally first of all, they're admitting that they first need to decodify the term critical race theory. In other words, don't actually engage with the actual subject matter. We're going to decodify it for you. In other words, remove it from its original context and recodify it to make sure that you have something to be angry about. That's it. That's literally it. They're not really shy about it. They're telling you this.
The DEI portion, and then claims that she made there also very stupid and so hyperbolic that she was laughed at once again because nobody was buying the bullshit that she was spewing.
Fighting to remove this and eradicate it from our society, eradicate it from our culture, because, like I said, it could, you could be next. It is harming our children. It's harming us. It's harming.
Which goes back to the earlier clip that he played. Like, where? Okay, so explain to me where the harm is. She can't. That's true. There's so many morons to pick from. Yeah, the one that I was thinking about, the Simon Locker hit it right on the head. James Lindsay.
Everyone. You see it on college campus. When you'll go into the workforce, right?
True. True. In the workforce, yeah, definitely. Wokeness, DEI, CRT, it's all over the place.
There with all the DEI stuff. And it's basically so.
Man, I wish that every single event for these people goes like this. Because this is literally how it should be viewed whenever some clown like this walks on stage. Like, this is how it should be handled every single time.
So there's been so many companies.
So many companies.
Exposed Southwest, Mayo Clinic, Enfamil, Aldi, Planet Fitness, Intuit. There's so many companies that this DEI is embedded into their policies, and this is how they operate. And DEI is basically just code for less white.
Yeah, remember how CRT was the same thing? Literally, it's just the same thing. They're just replacing it because, you gotta keep spinning that outrage machine to make sure that these people are angry about something. The boomers on Fox News are angry at something. So this is just it. It's just literally like it's that meme. Oh Christ, I hope I can find it. It's that meme with like the is it the soy face? I can't remember. Where it's like angry, and then like the chip on the back says CRT, and then like the next panel it's like the replacement of the chip with DEI, and it's like back to the angry face. I can't find it. We should stop supporting subpar work like her. She probably got hired based on her skin color.
DEI is code for less whites. Listen, as stupid as that sounds, she's at least trying to define the thing that she's talking about. So good job, Chaya. That's like 101 of speech giving. If you're going to talk about something and you want to inform people, then you need to define what you're talking about. But, you know, this is somebody who is an...
Not only just like define it, but be able to point to it every time you have like a discussion about this. You need to be able to be concise and point to that point. Point to that point every time. But like these people can't, right?
An amateur who's just speaking out of her asshole. So, you know, if she happens to do something that might inform the audience about her own views, it's accidental purely, right? She's not actually trained to be an educator because she's a dumbass, right? She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. But the problem with her fear-mongering is that it's complete bullshit. Corporations never actually followed through with their promises to make their hiring practices less racist. As CNBC reports, companies like Google and Meta pledged to adopt more inclusive hiring practices in 2020 in the aftermath of the George Floyd protests, but didn't actually follow through on that promise.
Oh, dude, wow. Almost like corporations love to just kind of virtue signal and pander. But in reality, they like actually don't do anything. This is like the same like nonsense that they do with climate pledges, right? Like, yeah, we're gonna be more climate friendly. No, yeah, we're gonna actually like be more mindful of minorities and hear their voices. No, man, the only thing that runs these corporations is profit. Okay.
And ended up gutting their own DEI programs just 2 years later. And this is indicative of a broader trend. So these companies made the DEI promise to make themselves look good, never followed through on it, and now conservatives are using that non-existent program as the boogeyman, which is why Chaya Raichik was laughed at when she talked about how harmful these DEI policies have been, because everybody knows that is demonstrably untrue. But there's one more clip that Bryce shared that I want to show you because it proves how little she's thought about her own worldview. And she said something similar in her...
Yeah, and that seems to be like a very consistent theme because like the whole modus operandi is just to be angry and hateful and bigoted. That's it. Companies who put rainbow-colored products out for gay pride but don't support their employees. Correct. Yeah, correct. Rainbow capitalism, right?
Her interview with Taylor Lorenz, but she apparently hasn't learned from that because she doubled down on a point that defeats her entire worldview. Let's watch.
For the rainbow bullies right here, could you define
what did you call
these genders are there, Chaya, please?
There's 0 gender.
What? Nice. Oh man, the truly we're witnessing the intellectual titan give us the lowdown. 0 genders, folks. Got it.
Wait.
Amazing, isn't it? There's 0 genders, according to Chaya Raichik. I don't think that she understands that that is literally the woke position, for lack of a better word. Perhaps she'd know this if she knew what woke meant and was able to define it. But I mean, she doesn't realize that that is a woke thing to say, because gender is a social construct. But the best part is that one of her fans tried to throw her a softball question in order to own the rainbow bullies, and he probably expected her to give the typical conservative answer and say, there's only 2 genders, suck it, libs. But instead, what does she do? She takes the woke approach and says,
yeah, gender abolitionist, Chaya. Thank you. Welcome.
There are 0 genders. Love it. And she's correct because gender is a social construct that we all made up as human beings. Thus, we should be allowed to express ourselves however we want without the imposition of some arbitrary cultural parameters. Now, she said the same thing in her interview with Taylor Lorenz.
Well, gender is actually made up.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes, we agree on this.
Yeah, so apparently she didn't learn from her interview with Taylor. So I've got to say that the more Chaya talks, the more evident it becomes that she is her own worst enemy, right? And she plans.
Also seems to be a pretty consistent theme with fascists, huh? Yeah, gender abolitionist Chaya. Thank you. Welcome, comrade Chaya.
On doing more of these events around the country. So I genuinely look forward to her getting stumped by the most basic questions imaginable, because it's not just entertaining to see her look foolish, because she is foolish, but it also sheds light on just how vapid and incoherent her worldview is and demonstrates how these types of people, they're not motivated by some like intellectual curiosity.
No, not at all. Like literally, there's nothing... There's nothing, no intellectual, like you said, no intellectual curiosity going on here. It's just anger, outrage, hatred, and bigotry. That's it. That's what's powering this machine. And it's quite clear when you actually try to engage with these people, like with actual arguments, with just actual simple like questions, simple logic. It just falls apart because there is none. There's nothing behind it. It's just outrage. It's just bigotry. That's it. That's the only thing that is behind that.
It's all hate.
Yeah,
pure and
there you
simple.
go.
That's what
bingo
drives them, and that's why they sound so stupid when you ask them a question.
Bingo. That
kind of challenges their worldview. They don't know. They haven't thought about it. They just see gay people and trans people and think, ew, icky.
DEICRT.
That's as far as their thinking has gone on the subject. And it shows with people like Chaya Raichik.
True. Oh man. Well, at least we know that maybe Chaya Raichik is more woke than she would like to admit. Make me dab, all right. You got that full screen dab, okay? Full screen dab. Get your money's worth, exactly. Get your truth coins, not truth coins, truth points worth. There you go. All right. Do we even need to say any more commentary about this? Like, is there anything else to add to this? Like, the latest UN vote to make food a right, like to make food a human right. USA against. Imagine voting against making food a right. Capitalism, baby. Why would we make food a right? We got to make sure people pay for it. What are you, nuts? All right, so I don't have to imagine it's demonstrated every day in American life. Yep. It's also worth noting that Israel also voted against making food a right, which kind of tracks, doesn't it? It kind of really tracks, given Heat with the 5 biddies. Thank you so much. Speaking of which, so we're gonna jump right back into it. So content warning if you find this distressing, I'm just saying, as most of you have probably already known, especially folks who keep up with the Palestinian genocide, 7 international humanitarian workers were killed by the Israeli Air Force, or by the IDF. I don't know if I forget if it was an airstrike or some kind of. It doesn't matter. They targeted them with 3 consecutive strikes, and this is the response after this is the type of stuff we're seeing from our government. Conscious Connect with the 420 biddies, thank you. This is the kind of ghoulishness of I can't. There's no yeah, definitely targeted. There's no words that can possibly describe how disgusting, evil. I like. There's no words in the English language. You just have to listen
Israelis have already admitted that
to these ghouls.
Israelis have already admitted that this was a mistake that they made. They're doing an investigation. They'll get to the bottom of this. Let's not get ahead of that.
Bro. So just to be clear, I don't know, I haven't seen the rest of this clip, but the full context of that is that the reporter asked him, like, listen, 1 strike you might be able to say was a mistake. The 2nd and 3rd strike, how could you say that it was not intentional? And this is this ghoul's response to that. Glad you're doing international news. I saw. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Your question presumes at this very early hour that it was a deliberate strike, that they knew exactly what they were hitting, that they were.
They did. Actually, they did, and we know that they did because the humanitarian organization was working with the IDF. They were literally coordinating this movement. They were literally coordinating this convoy's movement. So explain to me how they didn't, like, we're just being gaslit as if we didn't see the freaking videos and photos.
They were hitting aid workers and did it on purpose, and there's no evidence of that. I would also remind you, sir, that we continue to look at incidents as they occur. The State Department has a process in place. And to date, as you and I are speaking, they have not found any incidents where the Israelis have violated international
freaking, wow, cool. Isn't that convenient?
Humanitarian law. Unless you think we don't take it seriously,
You don't. Clearly. Either that, or you just let it slide and not call it a violation of international law. Which would be incredibly inconvenient because then you'd be in some hot water.
I can assure you that we do. We look at this in real time.
Never violated international humanitarian law ever in the past 5.
Yeah, not ever. Never mind the past 5 to 6 months. Not ever. Okay.
To 6 months.
I'm telling you, the State Department has looked at incidents in the past and has yet to determine that any of those incidents violate international humanitarian law.
Gotcha. 196 aid workers have been killed in Gaza.
الآليات الإسرائيلية تقدمت باتجاه هذه المنطقة ونحن الآن اضطررنا للانسحاب مع الشبان يعني الوضع الأمني.
Yeah, try not to lose the Zionist voters. Yeah, which, by the way, like I was saying earlier, like at this point, you know, if you think that you're hedging your bets, that, you know, there's going to be more, that you're going to have more angry Zionist or pro-Israeli government voters angry with you if you take a tougher stance on Israel than you are right now. I don't know. It just seems strategically not good, not great. So that's the response that officially that we've given. That it was an accident. Apparently, it was an accident, and we have not determined that Israel has violated international law at any point in the past 5 to 7 months, or whatever the video said. It is appalling, but Trump wants to develop the waterfront property that is Gaza. That would not surprise me. That would not surprise me. So now that we've got kind of that set up, especially with the context of the first video, displeasure with Biden's handling of Hamas-Israel genocide was on display at closed-door White House meeting. 6 Muslim community leaders met with Biden on Tuesday, many who pressed him to do more to help civilians dying in Gaza. They're lining up and salivating at the idea. Firefly brought up the article. I'm pretty sure it was Firefly who brought up the article. Not that long ago. I think it was like last week or a couple weeks ago. I remember this. Just 5 minutes into a meeting with President Biden, a Palestinian American, the one with, was it Jared? No, not Jared Kushner. With who was it? That you sent me? I'm pretty sure it was you, where they were considering the development or redevelopment of Gaza under Israeli occupation. Jared, okay, that was Jared. Okay. Yeah. That article. Was it you who sent it to me? I can't remember. That I distinctly remember you posted it on the Discord. I know I mentioned it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was okay. If you mentioned it, then I'm like 90% sure you might have been the one that posted the article that we brought up. Or maybe it was like a video, and maybe it was both. Anyways, yeah, absolutely. Just 5 minutes into the meeting with President Biden, a Palestinian American doctor who has treated gravely injured patients in Gaza couldn't even bear to stay, so he left. Dr. Thir Ahmed, who specializes in emergency medicine, recalled getting emotional when talking about the many Palestinians that he cared for, describing the scale of death in the 6 months since the genocide began. The decision to leave was a personal one, he told NBC News in a phone interview, explaining that he wanted to show the White House it was important to recognize the pain and the mourning that my community was in. Ahmed was stressed that he wanted to let the administration feel the way we felt this past 6 months and kind of got up and walked away from them. He was one of only 6 Muslim American community leaders who attended a small meeting on Tuesday, yesterday, with Biden, Vice President Kamala, and senior administration officials at the White House. Many others who have been invited attended to decline, according to multiple sources familiar with the outreach, underscoring the deepening tensions between the administration and the Muslim and Arab American communities over the president's support of Israel in its genocide of Gaza. More than 30,000 people have died, according to health officials, since Hamas terrorist attack began on October 7th, and the group is still holding more than 100 hostages. Another, like, I love how, like, we're still mentioning this, which, again, at this point, we're not even addressing this. Yeah, they won't. At least the doctor who was there, was so distressed that he wasn't being heard, that he left. Honestly, it's progress that Muslims were invited. Yeah, but it just, to me, the way I see it is that this is irrefutable proof that the campaign knows it's in trouble, right? The campaign knows it's royally effed. And it sounds to me, and I could be wrong, it reeks of desperation, right? Like, these people are like, oh shoot, we've got to outreach now, and they're not having it. They're not having it. For obvious reasons. They're not having it, and like, all of a sudden, now that the election is 6 months away, no wonder folks feel like walking away. Does that make sense? Because you're like, oh, now you're reaching out. I see. Cool. I mean, I could be interpreting this completely wrong, but it sounds like the Biden campaign understands the issue. They're trying to course correct. It is now 6 months before the election, and now you're deciding that this is something to address. Meanwhile, like, the people, especially the people who were on the ground, are feeling like walking away. This is not great. Yeah, it's a pretty low bar. Biden needs to go all in on saving Palestinians and being on the right side of history. Yeah, like, even if you, like, I was saying earlier, like, man, it's clear that the moral compass here is not present. But there's no moral compass at the helm right now. So at the very least, if you care about anything, if you care about staying in power, this has to be addressed. And it seems like, well, what's the saying? A little too late. A day late and $1 short. Another doctor who attended was taken aback when she showed Biden prints of photos of malnourished children and women in Gaza, to which Biden responded that he had seen those images before. The problem, the doctor said, was that she had printed the photos from her own iPhone. This speaks volumes to the dismissive nature of the... Yeah, this is exactly it. Oh my God. Yeah, this is exactly the read that I'm freaking getting. Like, a day late and $1 short, and now, like, your freaking constituents are feeling like you're not listening to them. There's tens of thousands of people dead, and this is your freaking response to that? Whew. This speaks volumes to the dismissive nature of the administration when it comes to strong-willed action towards a permanent ceasefire, or at a bare minimum, a red line on the invasion of Rafah, said Dr. Nareen Ahmed told NBC News. Before leaving the meeting early, Ahmed handed letters to the president from an 8-year-old orphan in Rafah, the southernmost city in Gaza. There's incredible amount of urgency around this, Ahmed said, expressing deep skepticism that Israel's military campaign can be done in a sophisticated or tactical way that doesn't put innocent civilians at risk. During the 90-minute media meeting, which took place behind closed doors, Biden told attendees that he will not call for a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Hamas until all remaining hostages are released, according to two people familiar with his comments. Nice. Very... And the president listened respectfully, a third source briefed on the meeting said, and pledged to continue to working to significantly increase humanitarian aid to Gaza. Throughout the discussion, other doctors who have spent time in Gaza spoke about their harrowing experiences, including the danger they have experienced in trying to help others. A Muslim rights activist who attended the meeting said a Muslim rights activist who attended the meeting said they also showed that Biden and Harris photos of injured patients, including children. Biden thanked the Muslim American community leaders for attending the meeting and acknowledged that many people had expressed concerns about attending an event at the White House while so many Palestinians are suffering. These people said. Salima Suswell, founder and chief executive of Black Muslim Leadership Council, who attended the meeting, said that she felt like Biden and Harris both listened closely to the attendees and understood their perspective. I thought that it was more important to accept the invitation to meet with the president and vice president and senior administration officials today because I've been consistent regarding the importance of engagement. It was important to me to let the president know that Black Americans and Black Muslim Americans are deeply hurting about what is happening in Gaza, said Suswell. Delbert, the hostages are more likely deceased. We don't know, and quite frankly, the IDF and the Israeli government doesn't give a flying F about the hostages. That much is very clear. Biden and Harris responded to the pictures of injured children like, meh. Yeah, like, oh, I've seen these before. I don't think you understand. This came from my phone. I was there, dude. Harris also, the person who was there. Harris also delivered remarks that reiterated Biden's stance and seemed designed to soften criticism of Biden's position on the war, namely that he values the U.S. relationship with Israel more than Palestinians. She said that Biden was sincere in his concerns, according to an attendee, and she told the group that she sees how much the war and civilian death tolls are weighing on the president and insists he's doing absolutely everything that he can to put an end to this war. He's not. He's not because, if he was, he would be telling Netanyahu that enough is enough is enough. We're done. We're done. And in fact, I'm going to use my power as the president to encourage the rest of the international community to be done with you too. So yeah, how about them apples? I mean, like, this is nonsense. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. If it's true that the civilian death tolls are weighing on you, then, like, I don't know, man, do something about it while you still can. 6 months, bro. 6 months. While you still can. They're everything the AIPAC is allowing them to do. Yep. Stop sending them weapons. Like, the bare minimum, at least say, like, hey man, we're not sending you nothing anymore. No weapons, no planes. The deal is off. The 81 billion deal is off, or whatever. The 81 million, I forget the amount, is 81 million, 81 billion, whatever. A ton of F-15s. That deal's off. No more bombs. Nothing. You're done. Heartbreaking. Bye for now. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you, Fishbone. But nothing. We're not getting anything. Biden said, according to one of the attendees, that if Israel tries to obstruct the ability to bring in the aid into Gaza, which they already are, the U.S. will push back and advocate for more resources to be brought into the region. They're already doing that. Last Thursday, the UN's highest court ordered Israel to open more land crossings to allow food, water, and fuel and other supplies into Gaza, after reports that the Israeli government was blocking life-saving supplies from reaching the devastated enclave. Israeli officials have repeatedly denied obstructing aid from entering Gaza, which is nonsense. And instead blamed the UN for acute shortages of life-saving supplies in the Strip, particularly to the north. The president did not specify what the U.S. would do to ensure aid can be safely delivered. Just this week, 7 aid workers with the disaster relief charity World Central Kitchen were killed by an Israeli airstrike, adding to the 200 who have already died since the war started in October. The aid group said the convoy was hit as it was leaving a warehouse in the Deir al-Balah area of central Gaza, where the team had unloaded more than 100 tons of humanitarian food aid. that the charity had brought by sea. In the meeting, one attendee said it appeared that Biden and Harris were careful not to discuss what is taking place behind the scenes to negotiate a possible 6-week ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. After it concluded, the Muslim American community leaders departed, and a small group of Muslim staffers participated in a scaled back iftar dinner with Biden, Harris, and other senior officials. In years past, the White House hosted larger receptions related to Ramadan, including several Eid celebrations that attracted hundreds of guests, including public remarks from the president. Several Arab American and Muslim American leaders rejected invitations in recent weeks, specifically citing that their discomfort with participating in the celebration when so many in Gaza are facing starvation. And two people who received invitations told NBC News, no doubt about it. War is profitable and deadly, but profitable. Yep. Makes sense. I'd probably not go if I were them. Yeah, 100%. Yet nobody wants peace in Ukraine. I don't think so. I think, I don't know. I want peace. I want peace everywhere. Senior White House officials and Biden campaign aides have attempted to meet with key members of Muslim and Arab American communities in recent months, but have often received icy receptions. Yeah, no kidding. The president and vice president will continue to engage with Muslim and Arab American communities and listen to the voices of all impacted by this conflict. It's not good enough. You know what the issue is, dude. You know what the issue is. Just pretending to say like, oh, we understand. Oh, we're listening. Oh, we empathize. Oh, man, that's not good enough. No. Ahmed, the doctor who left the meeting, said he plans to go back to Gaza soon and is legitimately concerned that I may be killed in the process. Jesus Christ. If that happens, he said, it's hard to think it could happen from a 2,000-pound bomb that the U.S. gave to Israel. Which the same ghoul we just watched not that long ago said that, actually, it's perfectly acceptable to continue to give Israel these 2,000-pound weapons, 500-pound bombs, 2,000-pound bombs, because it needs everything that it can get to defend itself. So it's so messed up on so many different levels. This whole affair is a joke. Why would we vote for someone who won't freaking listen? Right, because like the whole premise, the reason why David's argument worked, or works to an extent, is because the idea is that even if we don't like the Democratic Party, even if we don't agree with the Democratic Party at 100%, the whole point was that you get to choose your enemy, your weakest enemy, because that is the enemy that you want to be able to sway. And if that's not happening, then all of a sudden that goes out the window. If that happened, he said, it's hard to think it could happen from a 2,000-pound bomb the U.S. gave to Israel. That my government would have a hand in that, and I just hate that. That's the kind of thoughts that are crossing my mind. Yeah. Whew. Go Oklahoma, indeed. So to shift gears to kind of to shift gears from that topic. Yeah, okie dokie. Oklahoma voters kicked out local official tied to white nationalist groups. Nice. Voters in Enid, Oklahoma have decisively kicked out a city council member with a history of ties to white nationalist groups from the elected body almost a year after he was admitted. Jude Blevins lost his position as Enid's Ward Number 1 council member, according to Oklahoma State Election Board. The move comes months after Blevin was shown to have attended the deadly neo-Nazi rally in Charlottesville in 2017 and was later shown to have led an Oklahoma chapter of the white nationalist group Identity Europa, I guess. Blevins denied that he was or ever had been a white supremacist and said that he motivated by the same issues that got Donald Trump elected in 2016. Oh man. What do you think motivated? What do you think were the issues that motivated people to vote for Donald Trump in 2016? Like diehard Trumpers that are still around. What do you think those issues were? Yeah, Europa. So I guess that's a typo. Oklahoma ain't that great, and elderly couples have family in the midst of being force evicted by cops rather than being evicted. Jesus Christ. A small group of 36 Blevin supporters had won him the election last year, but he lost Tuesday's vote to fellow Republican candidate Cheryl Patterson, who had campaigned on a platform returning into normalcy. Oh, no, it's how it's spelled. They use a V instead of a U to look more Latin or something. Got it. Okay. We're a bunch of clowns. Jesus. And appears to have defeated Blevins by a 20-point margin or 268 votes. In his campaign to maintain his seat in the council after a recall election was approved earlier this year, Blevins noted his achievements, including voting for a movie theater in his ward, storm water drainage improvements, and opening of a branch of the Texas Roadhouse steak restaurant. He said voters had elected him because they believed I was the best candidate who shared their values, their concerns, and hopes for the future of Enid. An earlier effort to censure Blevins for failing to explain or apologize for aligning himself with white nationalists collapsed after a fellow commissioner, Darren Norwood, the only black member of the city governing body, said he accepted Blevins' statement that he was opposed to all forms of racial hatred, racial discrimination, and any form of government that would suppress the rights that are not enshrined in our Constitution. But as the election drew close, some claimed that Blevins' extremist ties had not been severed. At a public forum last week, his opponent said she believed in a second chance, but my opponent has not been forthcoming in his continued association with members of the white nationalist movement. After Tuesday's results rolled in, Connie Vickers, a Democrat who campaigned against Blevins, told NBC News that we won, Blevins lost, hate lost. Even on voting day, Blevins said he had a good chance of retaining his seat. I'm pretty confident I'll come out on top, even though he did not. Nice. He said if he was defeated, he planned to go just back to the private life and life goes on. But the race between Blevins and Patterson at times grew heated. He disparaged her as a tool of radical social justice campaigners and compared himself to Donald Trump, encircled on all sides by a faction of far-left perverts. Someone had tried to kill him by cutting a brake line on his pickup, he claimed. Okay. Blevins' opponent, meanwhile, campaigned on a platform to restore Enid's solid reputation. It's time to step forward. It's time to restore our reputation. Enid is not a town that promotes white nationalism or white supremacy in any way, said Patterson, and the people are good. The Enid results have yet to be certified, which could happen on Friday. So, good riddance. Good riddance. That's why it's so important to pay attention to local elections as well. Man who used megaphone to lead attack on police during the insurrection gets more than 7 years in prison. Presumably this clown over here, I guess. A Washington man who used a megaphone to orchestrate a mob's attack on police officers guarding the Capitol was sentenced on Wednesday today to more than 7 years in prison. Too little. U.S. District Judge Royce Lambert said the video captured Clown playing a leadership role in the insurrection. He led rioters on a charge against the police line, barked commands over his megaphone, and shouted step-by-step directions for overpowering the officers. In an angry mob, there are leaders and then there are followers. He was a leader. He knew what he was doing that day, the judge said before sentencing him to 7 years and 3 months behind bars. He represented himself with an attorney on standby, has repeatedly expressed rhetoric that is inspired by the anti-government... Oh, he's a sovereign citizen. Nice. He asked the judge questions at his sentence, including, does the record reflect that I repented my sins? Lambert, the judge, who referred to some of his words as gobbledygook, said, I'm not answering questions here. Prosecutors recommended a 9-year prison sentence. The clown is a self-employed installer of septic systems. He was not just any rioter. He led and organized and encouraged the assault of officers on at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. The jury convicted him of felony charges after a trial last year. He had a megaphone strapped to his back when he marched to Capitol, and then President Trump stopped a steel rally near the White House. Quote, it's over, he said. Mike Pence has voted against the president. We are down to the nuclear option. Oh, man. Yeah, very peaceful. The very peaceful Capitol tourist. He was one of the first riders to chase a group of police officers who were retreating up the stairs outside the Capitol. He shouted and gestured for the other insurrectionists to pack it in and prepare to attack. He shouted, go, and before the rioters, and he and other insurrectionists shoved the metal barricade into a line of police officers. He also grabbed an officer's arm. Wait, I'm pretty sure this was one of the things that we saw when we were watching the live stream of this, where this dude, or I guess several people, were launching the metal barricades. I'm pretty sure we saw, I don't know if it was this same clown, but I'm pretty sure we got to that point where we saw this live. Yeah, hopefully no time served. Someone stole my username, man. Welcome. Yeah, peaceful nuclear option. The crime is complete, he posted. Oh my god, they're not bright, folks. Not bright. He was arrested on February of 21, has been jailed since November of 23, when jurors convicted him of 7 counts, including obstruction of the January 6th joint session of Congress that certified Joe Biden's victory. The jury also convicted him of assault and civil disorder. The Justice Department prosecutor, Courtney Howard, said he hasn't expressed any sincere remorse or accepted responsibility for his crimes, meaning the clown. Quote, he's going as far as to portray himself as a persecuted victim, of course. Lambert said he received over 20 letters from the clown, his relatives, and friends. Some of his supporters don't seem to know the full extent of his crimes. On January 6th, the judge added, Lambert said he would order the clerk's court officer to send him all copies of his prepared remarks during the sentence hearing. There can be no room in our country for this sort of political violence, said the judge. Last April, Lambert ordered a psychologist to examine him, the clown, and determine if he was mentally competent to stand trial. The judge ultimately ruled that he could understand the proceedings and assist in his defense. Yeah, I know that's the kind of language I use when entering a government facility and on vacation. Exactly. Approximately 1,350 people have been charged with the insurrection, capital insurrection-related federal crimes. Over 800 of them have been sentenced, with roughly 2/3 of them getting terms of imprisonment ranging anywhere from several days to 22 years. Yeah. That's nice. You love to see it, folks. You love to see it. All right, folks, it's just about 7 o'clock, so I think that's good. Folks, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget, hit the follow button. It really does help us out. I appreciate all the support. Thank you to Conscious Canuck for the biddies, 420 biddies. Thank you, Heat, for the five biddies. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the follows, subscriptions, biddies, all of that. It really does help us out. If you're on the YouTube, just 5, all of them help, okay? Because now it's not 420, now it's 425. Everything helps. I appreciate that. Thank you, Kamikaze. Good night. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Again, if you want to support the channel, you can hit ! merch if you want to just check out the merch store. Join the Discord. Okay, there's some cool people in there, I promise. Thank you, Heat, and thank you, Michael Hasser, for moderating the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. You guys know what makes this channel grow. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Since we all have these goofs in one place now, there needs to be a behavioral study on the effects of stochastic terrorism and other abnormal behaviors. I'd be willing to lighten their sentence for participation. Oh, man. Nah. See ya. Hang tight, folks. Hang tight, folks. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.